Well, we're headed to Toronto for Game 7 after the Sixers won 12-101 win in Game 6 here at the Wells Fargo Center. Marc Narducci along with Keith Pompey. And Keith, even though the Sixers won by 11, that's a misleading score. They were really in command this whole game.
Very misleading. And, heading into the game, the concern was, will the Sixers be able to keep up with the Raptors? If the Raptors go up and get a double-digit lead, well, the Sixers were the team who did that. And the thing that stood out to me was Jimmy Butler, Tobias Harris, and Ben Simmons really played well in the first quarter, especially the first half. All three of them had 8 points, and the Sixers had 29 points. So they scored 24 of the 29 in the first quarter, which was very impressive. And then Jimmy Butler took over the second quarter.
No question. He had 19 by halftime. Then they put Kawhi Leonard on him more, which took a little bit away from, I think, Leonard's offense as well. But then other people chipped in. And how about Joel Embiid? Didn't have the greatest offensive numbers. Keith, he was a plus 40 on the night.
Yeah, he played well. Now, the thing is, you always knew that him being a big-time player, so to speak, a guy who likes answering the bell, that he was going to come out.
Yeah.
And he was going to do something. He started off in the first half, he shot 1 for 8, but on the defensive end, he had a presence. And you pointed out to me, Mark, that there was one point where he goes to the bench. No, he comes back. Marc Gasol isn't in during that stretch.
Yeah.
The Sixers go on a 10-0 run.
Yeah.
And it was based off his presence.
Yeah.
They didn't have Gasol. Everybody else was focusing on him, and other guys just got off. A 10-0 run.
Yep, and of course, he didn't even score in that 10-0 run, but he opened up the court for everybody else. They got 2 threes in that time as well. Another key was the Sixers' energy, as Tobias Harris, who had 16 points and 9 rebounds, said after the game.
We knew last game our energy level, and we wanted to really make a change to that in this game. And I thought for the jump of the game, we got really just locked into how we wanted to play and doing anything we could to get the victory.
Keith, a lot of criticism before this game about Ben Simmons. He had only been to the foul line 4 times in the first 5 games. He really came to play. He was aggressive. He was attacking the basket, and he was attacking the offensive boards as well.
Yeah, Ben played extremely well. He's another guy that, he was getting criticized, and, he got it from everyone. To me, it was one of those things he had to learn how to play aggressive without the ball, moving without the ball.
Yeah.
If you notice, he had a lob on one play.
Yeah.
You notice he had a tip-in dunk, rebound dunk. He just played well, and then when he had the ball, it was like his confidence was sky high. As I alluded to early on, he was 4 for 5 in the first quarter, 4 for 5.
Yeah.
And the thing about Ben Simmons, he doesn't have to shoot a bunch of jumpers. He doesn't have to carry the team offensively. What he has to do is finish and be aggressive without the ball. And that's what he was tonight. He was extremely aggressive without the ball.
And now we go to Game 7 in Toronto, and Keith, it's anyone's game. It's really a hard series to predict. Teams have played well. They've both won on the other team's home court. Coin flip.
It is a coin flip. And the thing is, it's going to how are the 76ers going to be able to deal with the noise, the pressure, and all that. It's going to be an extremely hostile environment. The first 2 games that the Sixers played there, it was like, I'm not going to call it a wine and cheese crowd, but it wasn't exactly a hostile playoff crowd. This last game, it was hostile. It was, Joel Embiid was the villain. Now, my thing is, what they have to do is, if they can play the way they played tonight, I believe they can go in there and get a win.
Wow. And of course, the winner will face the Milwaukee Bucks, who are waiting to play the winner of Sunday's game, which will be 7 p.m. in Toronto. So from the Wells Fargo Center, Keith Pompey along with Marc Narducci from the Philadelphia Inquirer.